Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
And now we have an author. I love authors. We try to have an author every single month. And this author is a little different because she's actually an illustrator who's turned author. And the name of her book is The Girl Who Sings the Alphabet Backwards. It's a catchy name, isn't it? Well, there's a lot of reason to that. And so I want to introduce PAULEE BOWIN. She's the author of The Girl Who Sings the Alphabet Backwards. Good morning, PAULEE.
Good morning.
So you're on the west coast of Florida, right?
Right.
And has it been as hot there as it has been here?
Definitely.
Right. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to take the time this morning to do this. And I have your book sitting in front of me. It is so nice. It is something that people should buy for their grandchildren, for their children. It has a lot of morality in it. It's very cute. A lot of people will think it's just a picture book, but it's more than that. It teaches. What do you think, in your opinion, does it teach?
Well, I'm hoping it gets the point across that we can all pitch in and help others, and that we should. And that it's a little girl that's the main character also. And she decided to do it on her own. She didn't have to really ask for help. You know, it wasn't a boy that was, that swept in and rescued anybody. The little girl took the challenge and helped the sea turtles. Oh, yes, she did.
And do you get sea turtles there? Because we do here on the East Coast.
Yes, we do. A lot of turtle hatching signs up on the beach.
Yes, I had my first, interest in this when I lived over there in Ocean Ridge, and I didn't exactly know. This is many years ago. I didn't understand. All of a sudden, we had these big piles on the beach on the sand, and I didn't see the turtle actually coming in, laying the eggs and leaving. But then people expressed it, and then what happened is the conservation, the beach people, they put little flags up by those where the diggings occurred with the turtles, and they didn't want anyone to get over them or fool around with it. And then I don't know how long it took. Do you remember how long it takes from the time that they lay their eggs until they hatch? I don't remember that. I used to know all that.
I don't remember that either, actually. But it's very interesting. When I first moved to Florida, I would see that also, those little mounds in the sand.
Right.
And, you couldn't go over there and disturb it. And, of course, the main thing I know about it is how, when the hatching process occurs, and it's, during the full moon, which is very interesting that, they know by the light of the moon to go to the water. And that's just a really fascinating phenomenon, in my opinion, that the baby turtles are hatching with that knowledge to go to the brightest light. And so that's why it's so important for people to not be disturbing those hatchings by having fire on the beach or having, a lot of external lights on near those turtle nests.
That's true. And I think also the roar of the ocean waves.
Yes.
So it is, isn't it? These cute little things. Now, the sad part is, unfortunately, let's say there are 25 eggs and they hatch. Very few of them get to the ocean because the birds are waiting for them, aren't they?
Yes. And of course, in my book, an owl helps out the whole process. I wish it worked that way.
Right.
If there was an owl helping out, then the birds wouldn't be hanging around trying to nab the babies.
That's right. So you say here, thanks for saving the turtles, Paisley, the dolphins said. Of course. Mm-hmm. So that's right. And the dolphins had names too. So
yes.
Yeah, so that's what I liked about your book. In very simple language that children could really understand, they got to learn about the turtles. You and I learned a different way, but they learn here from the book, and then when they go to the beach, they can understand it. Now, unfortunately, we don't see those dolphins coming in. So do you get a lot of dolphins there on the West Coast?
We do, actually, and it's so nice. We went over to Clearwater Beach one morning early, and seriously, it was like the dolphins knew to put on a show. They were right off the beach, jumping in unison, and it was fantastic. And then, of course, they like to follow in the wake of a boat. If you take the boat ride, there's all kinds of dolphin tours over here, and it's really fun. I never get tired of seeing them. And I love reading about facts about dolphins, too, because, they do name themselves. It'd be actually kind of funny if any of them would name themselves Vanessa, but she's the star. She's the head of the pod in my book. Yeah.
Now, you're telling me that there's a boat over there that you get on, and they go and they find the dolphins?
Yes, there's several, actually. There's sunset cruises, and there's dolphin, actually, it's called Dolphin Tours. And they,
I didn't know that.
Over. You should come over.
That'll be on my list to do it. Now, you're in Clearwater, so I have to assume that anywhere there on the west coast of Florida would have the same kind of attraction.
Yes, Clearwater is perfect for that, as well as on down the coast a little ways to, Sarasota and Reddington Beach and let me see. Paso Grill. There's a lot of nice dolphins. St. Pete Beach, I guess.
Okay, well let's get back to the whole idea though. The girl who sings the alphabet backwards. Why does she do that?
Because she sees things a little bit differently. We can go down the road of, dyslexia is important to understand, and just basically that not everybody sees things the same way. And some people like the challenge of singing it backwards. So there's lots of different ways to look at it, but we need to be more understanding with people. That's a big thing. And dyslexia is a big issue.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's the opposite of bullying, isn't it?
Absolutely. No bullying. I absolutely despise it. I was bullied as a child, and it was actually because I was smaller than everybody else was the reason I got bullied. And it's torture to do that every day. My parents tried to help, and of course they told me to keep going and be brave about it and not cower. But you get butterflies in your stomach and you feel sick, and it's just so uncalled for. It's so important we help each other and empower each other, and especially as females too. We need to stick together more. We really do. And I have another book getting ready to come out, and it's inspirational quotes, and it's called Mermaid Logic.
Oh, really? It's called Mermaid Logic?
Yeah. But it's about actually helping each other. It's some of the quotes. It's about defending those that need defended, or that maybe aren't as capable, or they don't have not the guts, but they don't. Some people feel so inferior because they've been bullied, or for whatever reason, or because they're a little different, or they're backward, or whatever. And we need to help those people instead of hurting them. It would make such a difference, because it sticks with you your whole life when you've been bullied.
You're absolutely right. And my guest is smart woman, PAULEE BOWIN, who wrote The Girl Who Sings the Alphabet Backwards. It's interesting that I have so many authors. We've been doing this for so many years, and every month we have an author, and every author is a little bit different. PAULEE's different, but what she does is she puts all these wonderful ideas and feelings and sensitivity into her book. Now, I'm interested in your next book also because I love mermaids. I love the whole idea, because mermaids, they're not really real, but in children's eyes they are. And we've had some wonderful Disney shows on mermaids. And mermaids, as a matter of fact, I don't know where this was, but maybe it was a party and someone came as a mermaid. Not quite, they could walk, but they had like a big tail, and so mermaids are going to tell the truth. That's very nice.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, I love going as a mermaid for Halloween. I did that myself.
Oh, did you? Yeah, who can hate a mermaid, right? Mermaids are very sweet. And mermaids, of course, are women. But what would we have as a male mermaid? A merman. A merman.
A merman. I've thought a lot about that, and I probably will introduce mermen into the equation.
Good.
A series of actually really thinking about that, because little boys need to know how to be noble. For instance, it's the equivalent to some of the advice I'm giving the girls through the mermaids. And one of them is, don't try so hard to be different. You're already an original.
Oh.
And so for boys, there would be, a lot of things touching on maybe how to treat a girl or how to deal with, bullying also. Maybe there's some things I could do to reach the little boys too.
I think so. I think you're on the right track. What would a merman look like in your mind? Because you're such a talented artist. What do you think a merman would be? Would he have the tail like that, or?
He would have a tail with a little bit sharper features, and different colors, not so much the real bright ones, perhaps, like the girl mermaids, or the mermaids, I should say. And what would he look like? He'd come in all kinds of varieties, actually, just like people do. So I think we'll break some stereotypes.
Maybe some little feet, that help as compared to just the tail. Maybe a tail with some feet. I don't know. You must have a lot of fun with this, but let's get back to your book that you do have, because you put this out together. And I'll tell you something else that's important. Kids don't like real hard books, and your book is very easy to pick up. It has a beautiful cover, and it's easy to turn the pages, and the words are large, which is very good, because children, if they're struggling with reading, they need to see those words large so that they can talk, they can kind of sound out the letters. So you are very smart doing this.
Thank you. I also released it in Spanish, so there's an edition of it that has the Spanish version and the English version, in the event that there's children that are bilingual or they're trying to learn one or the other. It's kind of a fun way to learn another language.
Yes, now you're saying, so it's a second book. It isn't part of this book.
No, there's
a separate.
It's just another, edition, a separate one. So you can purchase either the book, The Girl Who Sings Alphabet Backward, by itself, or you can purchase the bilingual edition on Amazon. And so I thought that might be an interesting tool also.
Smart. Very smart, especially here in South Florida.
Yes.
Oh, I wish I knew at the time. Had you done it at the time that we featured your book as the book of the month?
I had just finished up getting
it. Yeah. Because we could have said that too, because I think that a lot of Hispanics would enjoy having that for their children. This was featured, of course, on the cover. If some of you still have your, even though we're working on our July issue, if you still have your June issue. And the other thing is, of course, we have our Boomer Expo, and we have our books for the past 6 months, and this book will be there so that you can actually see it, and maybe then you would purchase it. It is a very nice little book you can save it for a birthday or for Christmas or holiday. It's worth your buying. It's not very expensive. How much does it cost, Paulie?
It's $13.95 on Amazon.
$13.95. I mean, you can hardly do anything. You even go to a fast food market, by the time you buy everything, it's $13. So you could buy this book and it would stay, and the child would probably take it to bed so that the child will either read it or you can go and do it as a bedtime story. It's really very beautiful, and one reason I love it is I love banyan trees. And the banyan tree actually has a name too, which is marvelous. But an owl lives in this beautiful the banyan tree, first of all, is named Boca, which I think is a riot here, of course. Where'd you come up with Boca? You don't even live in Boca Raton.
Well, Boca means big, right?
Oh.
So I thought, well, he's big and he's beautiful. And
it
has a nice ring to it.
Banyan trees. You know, when people come here from other parts of the world, sometimes instead of taking pictures of what we would think, they take pictures of banyan trees because they've never seen something like this with the roots and the way that it flashes out, and it's gorgeous.
It certainly is. It's enchanting is what it is. I was amazed by those when I first moved here.
Where did you move from?
Kansas.
Oh, well, I would say so. That's very different, isn't it? So you were in Kansas. Okay, so in the story, we have a beautiful banyan tree, and it's named Boca. Now, and PAULEE even has an age of the tree, which is really probably more true than not, 150 years old. My goodness. You imagine what happened in that tree over that time, PAULEE?
Seen a lot of interesting things. So there's another book right there.
That's right. All the little bugs and maybe the squirrels and lizards and things. But getting on with this. The big roots surrounded a magical fountain, and this fountain was rumored to hold messages, but only those creatures who are pure of heart could receive them. See, that in itself is a morality sentence.
Yes.
Now, getting back. Inside the banyan tree lived a colorful and special owl, and the owl has a name. Where did you get the name Millie from?
My mom.
Is her name Millie, or she just told you to name it Millie?
No, I lost my mom a year ago, and her name was actually Doris Mildred, but it's funny, she didn't like the name Doris, and
right.
So she went by Millie most of her life, and so I thought, let's have an owl in the book, and of course name her Millie, and the owl is helpful and is always watching over, so I kind of picture my mom being always watching over me. So
this is, we've had a conversation before. It wasn't this delicious. I don't think I'd like an owl named Doris.
No, me neither.
It did fit to have Millie. No, so now we have this Millie, and the Millie lives in the banyan tree. Now, where do we go? What happens after this?
Paisley comes by, and
who is Paisley? Who's Paisley?
Paisley's our little girl in the story, and Paisley kind of sounds a little bit like Paulie, which is my name, of course, and so I named her Paisley. And she's visiting, and she comes by, and she's singing the alphabet backward, and so Boca notices her, and then sends Millie to tell Paisley to come to the fountain the next day for an important message.
Okay.
And so she goes back the next day to get the message from the fountain, because, of course, the fountain knew that she was pure of heart when she came near, of course, so it sparkled. So everybody knew that Paisley was the one to get the message to help the turtles.
Oh, that's great. Well, so then we go. And see, now we have a bunch of characters in here, which is really kind of funny, right? Mm-hmm. That's what makes it work. So.
Yeah, because Millie likes to listen to the dolphins gossip.
Yeah, I know. Well, I have to say that any child who has this book would be a very lucky child, because it goes on and on with lots of other characters, and that's really wonderful. So let's say that we now have a bunch of characters here. Now nothing would end. Now we're going back to the dolphins, mm-hmm. and that's important. And then we go back to the turtles. You have them all in here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just and this would be a good book without pictures, actually, because the words are very clear. But imagine if you could see the pictures of all the story that she is describing, and they're cute pictures. And these pictures, these are not pictures like we would say, grown-up people and it looks perfect. These are the pictures that I think a child would see in their imagination. You see the dolphins, sometimes you just see a tail, you see little smiles on them, you see the owl, you see the stars, you see the moon. I mean, it is just absolutely perfect for a child. And then, of course, we have those beautiful flowers that you did when the fountain is Everybody loves fountains. You know, when you go to Europe, people throw pennies into fountains, and sometimes the fountains are loaded with pennies because pennies are magical. I mean, not pennies. Fountains are magical.
Yes. They're meant to be magical and make a wish. And so I kind of spun it the other way, and the fountain gives instructions.
Now, one thing you have, and I didn't know why, you have a little horse. I don't know if it's a unicorn. You have something on page unicorn. 17. Is that what it is? It didn't talk about it. Oh, yes, it did. Oh, eggs were glittery and beautiful and hatched unicorns. I see that now. Yes, I saw that. I didn't know what to relate to that. Okay, I got it now. So here's a unicorn that children have no idea what they are, but now they're this cute little unicorn. But there's that big banyan tree with a face. And I just have to thank you so much for doing this and for allowing us to make you Book of the Month. I just really believe that somewhere, and unfortunately, if only you could see anyone who got your book and watch them read it or watch the parents read it or grandparents, it would make you so thrilled, wouldn't it?
I really would be excited to see that. And I mean, one of the things about the unicorn is, you know, she pictured that the eggs were hatching unicorns and then remembered that unicorns don't come from eggs. So I don't say I don't say unicorns don't exist. And in the book, I don't say mermaids don't exist. It's about having an imagination, and we don't need to shoot down somebody's imagination because that's how we have inspired people in the world, like Dolly, or, you know, I don't know. It's just better to explore the possibilities and embrace the imagination and creativity of a child instead of shooting them down.
This is why you're an artist, you know. You're an artist with words and an artist with pictures, and it's so wonderful to have you on our show. I have to just tell you that, and we've enjoyed every moment of it, and I have to just hope that people now know what to do. When you see that picture with the turtles rushing for the sea, yes, that does happen, and you don't want to pick up the turtle. You do want to chase away any birds. Now, I have seen turtles. Somehow they didn't make it to the ocean, but no bird got it. So I have brought those turtles into my house, and I've put them into water, salt water, to keep them, you know, so that they're not hurt, and then I take them over to the ocean. I've done this before, because you really hit, that's why I loved your book when I first saw it, because all these things are part of my life that I've done. And the other thing before we leave is the mother turtle comes back and does this every year or every other year. They know where they went before, right?
They do. In fact, the babies come back. They migrate back to the same place they were born and lay eggs themselves.
Mm-hmm. I know.
It's amazing. It's
Nature.
Fascinating. They go thousands of miles and then come back to their own homes.
Nature is just marvelous, and we want more nature. Get away from the television. Although I will compliment Disney. They have made so many great movies on things that are important. I just saw Aladdin, and it was beautiful. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's not just for children. It's really beautiful.
Okay, I'll go see that one. I like Moana.
Yeah, you would love it. Well, It's been wonderful talking with you again. My guest, of course, has been PAULEE BOWIN, BOWIN, and you can get the book. It's called The Girl Who Sings the Alphabet Backwards. You can have it either in Spanish or English, and you can go to Amazon.com and get it. It's worth it. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. Thank you so much, PAULEE, and have a great 4th of July.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor.